What up, what up? A2HH live on a Monday morning, or Monday afternoon, I guess, at this point. How we doing, Coop?
We're good.
bro.
We're good.
There's a whole lot to talk about. We don't have a whole lot of time today, but, we want to hit people with a little update since everybody is speculating about this Nas Magic 2 thing. I think we'll get into that in a second. While everybody's getting in the room, you want to talk some sports real quick?
Yeah, you just shot me with the whole Dwight Howard to Golden State thing. Tell me more.
It's a rumor. I mean, I saw it like on a meme. It ain't really anything official, but they're talking about the possibility of getting Dwight Howard. I think somebody should get Dwight Howard because clearly the man can still play basketball. He clearly still wants to play. And we're in a league right now where a big man is pretty much dragging everybody. So a big man that he's proven to have, stabilized to some degree.
I mean, let's understand, so 5 of the 7 best players in the league right now are still over 6'9", and that's not accidental.
No, it's a big man's game.
So let's, that whole, if there was a Shaq or an Hakeem around, they would be dominating Jokic, you know what I'm saying, and Embiid.
I believe
so always been a big man's game. But here's what I think about the Dwight Howard to Golden State thing. I don't think Golden State is a title contender.
Mm-hmm.
But I would put them in the mix with Denver, of course, who are the champs, and Phoenix and L.A. and Sacramento, who I think people are forgetting about in the Western Conference. Because to be honest with you, I think he could change life for both teams. I think Sacramento could benefit from having a Dwight Howard even more than Golden State, because the only thing that team is really missing is a little bit more experience and some defense.
Sacramento was impressive.
They had the 3rd best record in the conference. I think 4th best record in basketball.
Yep.
Took Golden State to 7 games.
Yep. I think they should have beat Golden State, honestly. But again, I think that's where the experience came in. And
that's why I said,
like Steph said, you don't know how to close yet.
That's why I said a little bit more experience and some defense. Because here's the thing about it:
it gives you experience and defense.
Well, if they had some defense, wouldn't even win 7 games because they was whooping Golden State some of those games. Yeah.
So I would like Dwight Howard to go to either Sacramento or Miami. I know Miami seems to be a big destination for everybody now.
That's always been that way.
It has.
Alonzo Mourning, Shaquille O'Neal, Gary Payton, Jason Williams.
It's just like that again.
Antoine Walker. Like Pat Riley has built a foundational franchise on the low. He couldn't win with the Knicks, but it's like he was able to go down to Miami. Well, that's what I'm saying. Imagine this. It's like Pat Riley couldn't win with the Knicks, but look at what he went down to Miami and did.
He won in L.A.
Well, we already knew that. He's actually won everywhere except for with the Knicks. But that's a whole other conversation.
Again, that's a whole nother conversation. What I was going to say, though, Dame is talking about going to Miami. Well, not talking about going to Miami, but what they're saying, what the reports are saying, he's not going anywhere else but Miami. And so I know a couple of years back, you and I were talking about this offline. Dame was the guy that was talking opposite of that, of the teaming up thing. Now, based on where Miami was in the conference and the fact that, they were a play-in team. You know what I mean? Like, Atlanta beat them in the play-in and all of that, but they ended up in the finals. Now, is this a teaming up situation if this is a team that's not even technically a playoff team?
I told you, see, it's funny, when you say things, because I'm a Kevin Durant fan, when I say, that whole teaming up thing is overrated, they're like, oh, well, you're saying that because you're a Kevin Durant thing. It's like, no, I don't think people understand how great you have to be to put on an NBA uniform and sit at the end of the bench.
Yeah.
And so this whole teaming up thing is really a big misnomer more than anything else. What it really comes down to is that everybody on those courts have talent. It comes down to work ethic, in a lot of cases of ability, but organizational structure.
Exactly.
Team building, putting teams together that make sense. How about this? I think what people forgot about Denver is that for the better part of the past 20 months, Jamal Murray was hurt. Last seen, him and Jokic in the pick and roll in 2020 was a real problem.
Yeah.
It proved itself to be a real problem again because stylistically those guys fit together extremely well. It's great team building. San Antonio choosing to take somebody who has Hall of Fame talent and is a Hall of Famer like Manu Ginobili and say, hey, if you'll become our 6th man, we can win a lot of rings.
Did he ever start?
Yeah.
Okay.
But making decisions like that organizationally, structurally, when Steve Kerr comes in and says, hey, Andre, I see something with Draymond. I need you to become our sixth man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what championship teams are built on top of star players.
Right.
And so this whole teaming up thing.
But you have to trust the organization.
But it has
too.
to make sense. This is what I'm trying to tell you. When Kevin Durant went to the Golden State Warriors, I'm like, well, that makes perfect sense because they're not beating LeBron without him.
How did this become a KD conversation?
Well, because it's because he made the teaming up comment.
Yeah.
About the KD thing.
He did.
He did. So this is because the teaming up thing. How about this? It wasn't teaming up when Wade got LeBron and Bosh to Miami, but it was when.
I thought that was teaming up too. I thought that was teaming up with your draft class.
But this is what I'm saying. Like Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James. That's not that much different than Magic, Kareem, Worthy, Bird, McHale, Parrish. Like, it's not that different. No, we got to stop that.
The difference people would say is those guys were drafted as opposed to, teaming up.
Because that's the way the system used to work. Understand, Boston and LA are who they are because they were manipulating the system.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Worthy got there in a very odd fashion.
Why the hell are the LA Lakers getting a top pick in the draft when they have Kareem?
They won a championship and got the number 1 pick.
Very problematic.
Blue Collar Hustler, they got it from Cleveland too.
It's very problematic.
Blue Collar Hustler with the super chat says Nas is reversing in 2023. Magic 2, Summer, KD 4 winner. Okay. We'll talk about that stuff. 36 Chambers with the super chat says, if we do get a Magic 2, are we talking about 5 albums in less than 3 years? And if it maintains the quality run we've seen, it looks like an unprecedented move in hip-hop. I like to think it was the 90s. I think this is even greater output than that, actually. Jay Short with the super chat says, if I'm Dame, I find a way to get to Milwaukee. Him, Giannis, and Middleton would be better than what they got in Miami. Well, Milwaukee doesn't have a coach right now, right?
I'm sorry, we got to stop this whole Milwaukee talk. Here's what happened with Milwaukee. Kyrie Irving and James Harden got hurt. Chris Paul and Devin Booker pulled their hamstrings. Outside of that, we have no evidence. Stop that Milwaukee talk. You don't want to keep on bringing up how Giannis can't be going, missing 14 free throws in a Game 7 or whatever it is?
I'm honestly, I know it's going to sound crazy. I'm not really sold on Giannis like that from what I saw. And I saw a coach get fired from a game that was really his fault.
He's very it's kind of like an Aaron Rodgers type of situation. Yeah. It's like, I see all the talent and you got all the gifts, but it's like you're not better than a lot of guys actually. You know what I mean? It's like your agility and your numbers say you're top 5. But it's like Aaron Rodgers isn't a top 5 quarterback to me, Mike. And Giannis, he's like a top 5 player, but it's more like a regular season player. But it's not even like a Peyton Manning level regular season player or a Dan Marino. It's like it's not even that. You know what I'm saying?
He could be doing way more damage out here. But maybe I'm being too tough.
I mean,
Mad Max of the Super Chat says, Lakers won before Worthy ever got there. Coop, stop making stuff up.
Just like Golden State won before KD ever got there?
Mad Max also says
missing what I'm saying.
Bird also won before McHale ever got there.
That's not true. They won the second year when McHale was a rookie, if memory serves. I think we have to look that up. But
I want to correct something from last week's show. Prince actually gave MC Hammer the cosign to do Prince.
He did?
Yeah. I thought I heard something like that. I wasn't sure.
I thought I heard there was a lawsuit involved. That might have been the record company, though.
Let's
maybe.
See. I want to look this up now. We're going to talk about Wimbledon real quick too before we get into this hip hop talk real quick.
It's cool. No. I want to hear about that. I want to see.
No. While you're talking that, I'm gonna look it up real quick.
No. Carlos Alcaraz just won Wimbledon yesterday at 20 years old. It's his second major. He's only one of 3 men in the last pretty much 125 years to win Wimbledon before the age of 21. He just turned 20 in May, Mike. He's the youngest person in the history of this game on the men's side to be ranked number 1 at 19 years old. He's the first person to win a major as a teenager since Rafael Nadal did in 2005, I believe it was, at the French Open.
Mm-hmm.
Novak Djokovic had not lost on center court since 2013. Mike.
That's insane.
It had been a decade since this man had lost. Listen, Mike, not only that, in the second set, first of all, he was down in the first set 6-1. He lost the first set 6-1. In tiebreakers and majors, Novak Djokovic has a record streak that was going of winning 15 straight tiebreaks in a row. Alcaraz beat him in the tiebreak. So the guy that was on a 15 tiebreak major winning streak literally had this court on lock. It had been 45 matches since he had lost on this court, Mike. They only play here once a year.
Wow.
It had been 45 matches since he lost on this court. It is literally probably one of the toughest things to do in sports history. And a 20-year-old went out there and he took it yesterday.
That's just showing how amazing he is.
Well, here's what he has. When I talk about tennis on here and I talk about Nadal and Djokovic and Federer, he has some of all of their things. He has Federer's touch and feel for the game. Like, he was hitting drop shots on Djokovic that, like, Djokovic and Federer usually hit on people to embarrass them. Like, he was doing this against Djokovic, who literally holds the record for most men's majors now at 23. He also kept Djokovic from getting 24, which would have tied him with Margaret Court for most in the modern era. So he stopped a lot of shit yesterday, Mike. He has Nadal's toughness, ability to forget, and competitive nature. He has Djokovic's endurance and agility. And on top of that, and here's what he has that the other three of them don't have, he's learned how to play on all the surfaces at an extremely high level faster than all three of them.
That's something that stood out to me, too, because I know Nadal was a clay.
Well, it took Nadal a couple years to beat Federer on grass.
Mm-hmm.
Alcaraz couldn't play like this on grass last year, Mike. It literally just took him a year to figure it out. No, it took Nadal a couple years to figure it out. It took Fed a couple years to figure it out. It took Djokovic about 4 or 5 years to figure it out. It took this kid a year to figure it out. He literally has won the U.S. Open. Mike, he was in the semifinals against Djokovic. It was one set all before he got hurt. He had started pushing Djokovic around on the court before he got hurt. The only person that's ever pushed Djokovic around on clay is Nadal. Like, this kid is serious. Like, if he stays healthy, Mike, he's going to have more majors than all of them. And that's absurd.
Yeah.
He's already got 2. Had he not got hurt at the French Open, he would have 3. I think had he not been hurt and played the Australian Open, Mike, he would be holding all 4 majors right now at fucking 20.
Well, we'll have to see. Health is a big part.
He's the deal. He is looking like he might go down as the greatest player ever.
Well, we will see.
He's looking that way. Health permitting. Like for people that don't watch, he's one of those type of players where it's like, no, he's looking like he might be transcendental. Like he's different. Like, even from those 3, he might be different because his ability to learn so fast, yeah, it's crazy.
My mere thoughts with the $50 super chat, showing love over here on a Monday. Appreciate that. He says, Nas' work ethic is unreal. Between touring and conducting business, where does he find the time to create? You know, there's a story that was actually left, and there was a lot of stories that was actually left off of our conversation. We're talking about storytelling. I know a lot of people probably, we can't catch all of them. That was just, random ones that we caught. But one of the big ones that I thought about that I didn't mention on air was the unauthorized biography of Rakim. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, like, this guy's writing must just be insane. Like, he's probably writing every day. He probably wrote something like that and just did it. And, just put it, I think the label probably was like, yo, this is dope. You got to put this out here. You
probably, when you get to that level of writing, you're probably just writing in your mind as much as you are physically writing, too. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? It really is. It's like, it's one of, it's an exercise,
It's an extreme muscle that he
has.
It's
an exercise, right? It's like, they're different, the body has how many muscles, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Right. So, like, that's his flex, you know what I'm saying?
Jay Short with the super chat says, I'm cool with another Magic, but someone who wants Nas to get his mainstream flowers, I wanted an album with bangers and younger artists.
Stop with this mainstream flowers talk. He's like top 20 all time in like record sales for rap artists. It's not like why people keep acting like this guy hasn't like gone multi-platinum and like been on like all types of gold and platinum singles and albums.
Because we correlated to Jay-Z's mainstream success. It's the same thing with the beat picking thing. We correlated to Jay-Z's beat picking.
How are them J beats holding up though?
Yeah. The ones that were made for the time, not so well.
That was most of them, Mike.
Yeah, and until Kanye came.
That's why I like that volume. But Mike, you want to know it though?
I'm saying.
Some of his best beats. First of all, you got to stop with the Kanye.
I'm just saying.
Mike.
It is what it is, man. This guy's a game changer.
Volume 1, Mike. Those beats are dope. They held up.
Some of them, except for the ones that tried to cross over.
But that's what I'm saying. Only a few songs tried to cross over. The rest of the beats held up. It's like, yeah.
Imaginary Play is awesome. I mean, but again, we're talking about Ski still involved too. You know what I mean?
1,000,001 questions.
Yeah. A million and one's awesome. Leroy Green with the super chat says, "What up, A2HH? Did you hear the Primo track with Rome Streets and Westside? Fire. I'm still waiting on Push Coop. Just saying." Yeah, Jim Jones' birthday came and passed, and
That's
we
fair.
still haven't
That's
heard
fair.
anything. So, you know, at this juncture, Jim is in the lead. We should get a Jim Jones interview. I would love to. And I think that hypothetically,
I can
having us as Pusha T fans and Dipset fans, but as Pusha T fans, interviewing Jim Jones about some of this stuff, I think it would be wildly entertaining. Not to mention having the fans interacting too. So Jim, holla at us.
We'll see.
I was pulling up this thing with MC Hammer before we go in.
Yeah, pull up the Hammer.
All right, it says Pray is the third single off of MC Hammer's third album. Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him, August 1990, produced by MC Hammer, and was heavily sampled Prince's 1984 song When Doves Cry. The first of just a few times that Prince allowed samples of his compositions.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I'm thinking because of the religious undertone and Hammer being Hammer and, you know, where he was taking it, I think Prince was like, cool.
Might have been more to do with the religious overtone.
Yeah.
Don't give a
But
damn
you could
about
tell that, I'm just saying Hammer being Hammer in the sense where he knows that Hammer really meant what he was doing. It wasn't just like some gimmick or something.
You know, people that have seen Prince live know exactly, like, where they were, who they were with, what they were doing, and what the set list looked like. Like, I was talking to somebody down in the city this weekend. He was like, I was at that show too. He was like, he went into Do Me Baby. He was like, and then it was like Little Record Vet and When Doves Cry when the show ended. I was like, yeah. I was like, it was. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like, it's like that. That's what I'm talking about. Like, Mike, that's when we talk about greatness and like leaving impressions. It's like, no, it's like people remember the set list. It's like it was 20 years ago.
That's a forever artist, as Dr. Dre would put it.
Thank you.
Dr. Dre just let me go to this super chat before we get
do you
into
understand what I'm saying? Like, that's why when I hear stuff like that, I don't care who I hear it from. It's like, stop that.
Let me say what it is so the people understand what I'm saying.
Hold on, and we about to have an Erykah Badu talk because then it got into an Erykah Badu conversation. It's like we was joking. It's like, oh, well, we know Erykah gonna be late, but it's gonna be good. You know what I'm saying? It's impressions, Mike.
John Wayne with the super chat says, Book of HOV made me realize that HOV has the best 8-album run and arguably 5 classics in those 8 with no breaks. Output was yearly. Huh. The best 8-album run? Is he talking about From Reasonable Doubt to the Black Album?
Reasonable Doubt, Volume 1.
I mean, it's an odd number to pick, but I get it.
Volume 2, Volume 3.
It's a pretty impressive run.
Dynasty, Blueprint.
Los Marcel.
Is he talking about Best of Both Worlds?
I don't know. I guess those don't count.
Because Black Album would be 7, and then what? What's after that? Is that Kingdom Come after Black Album?
Yeah, that's 8.
What's he talking about?
Los Marcel Almighty with the super chat says, got to give y'all a little pushback on the Biggie storytelling on Ready to Die. Almost every song on the album had at least one verse that was a story concept.
I asked if
2
things,
or 3 songs.
I asked you if things done changed. That's what I was saying. You know what I'm saying?
I guess. I mean, I guess I don't look at that as a storytelling song from end to end.
Remember back in the days when niggas had waves, Gazelle shades,
That's like reminiscent
braids. Rap. That's nostalgic rap.
Yeah, which is all of Illmatic if we want to be technical.
Nostalgic rap with timeless themes.
I woke up early on my born day. I'm 20. It's a blessing. The lessons of adolescence keep my body now refreshing. My physical frame is celebrated because I made it. That's not a story per se, but yeah.
I sip the Don P, watching Gandhi while I'm charging.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, if we want to be technical
Understandable, smooth shit that murderers move with. The thief's theme.
Luis with the super chat says, didn't want to sound like a hater, but Nas is doing all this great work after being successful in business, and Hov not being able to do the same shows who the GOAT is. It's an interesting take. Jay Short with the super chat says, side note, Cam didn't involve himself in the beef because he's doing sports now. When he dissed Mace for decades after he left hip hop, hilarious. Jay Short with the Cam slight. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So yeah, with this Forever Artist thing, this is what Dr. Dre said on a recent interview with I think Kevin Hart. And so Dr. Dre made the statement.
When did Kevin Hart become the go-to interview guy?
He's the go-to interview. Listen,
when did he become an interviewer, Mike? I thought he was a comedian and an actor.
He's the go-to interview guy for guys who don't want to interview with real journalists.
Right. This is so safe.
You know, it's like, let me go do an interview with my comedian friend. And if anything gets taken out of context, he's a comedian. We were joking.
It ain't no shade or disrespect, but it's
this is the truth.
No, no. Listen, there's no shade or disrespect, but I don't respect it. You know what I'm saying? Let's call it what it is. It's like, oh, don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Dre said that Kendrick Lamar is a forever artist. He's an artist that he could take 5 years off and come back and shake everything up. No one cares about his break. I don't know, man. It seems like we're the only people, us and a few others, and Drake now, I'll give Drake some credit, are the only people who have pushed or have spoken about this break and how detrimental it is to the overall legacy. And I guess Dr. Dre's here to say, I'm Dr. Dre. No, that doesn't matter. Because Kendrick's a forever artist.
He don't get to do that. First of all, he's not a forever artist. This last album took forever. This follow-up, Mike, is officially taking forever too. You want to talk about a one hot album every 10-year average? It's like, when did Damn come out? 2017?
Yeah.
That's a one hot album every 10-year average, Mike.
Hold up. I don't want to miss these super chats. Okay, every 10-year average. Okay.
And if the last time he made something classic was To Pimp a Butterfly, that is what?
That's 2015.
That's very problematic.
Do you guys think that Kendrick is a forever artist?
See what Dre is looking at it? Dre is looking at it from the lens like in a overseer, a owner, a controller. It's like when you own a law firm, Mike, and you're one of the managing partners, and it's time for you to retire, but you have to pick a managing partner. It's like, well, Kendrick has been picked as one of Dre's managing partners.
Got to roll with it.
So he's got to consult and console and do all the things because this is who is helping run the firm so that he can go sit in his palatial estate and do whatever the fuck it is that he wants to do. And that's fine. But don't misappropriate it and call him a forever artist because it fits your agenda. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's that attorney talk. That's some shit an attorney would do.
You know, thing is, man, and I'm going to get to these super chats in a second. I respect, obviously.
Forever artist?
I respect Dr. Dre.
Tupac is a forever artist.
I respect Dr. Dre and his insight, but what Dr. Dre has to understand, it's a new day in the music industry, and all of that dropping like once every 5-6 years, that doesn't work now. Even if he would have attempted to do this in this era, that Chronic 2001 detox stuff that he did back then, that doesn't work in this era.
People gotta stop. Listen to what I'm saying. People gotta stop acting like Dr. Dre really stopped working. Okay? Like, when did Straight Outta Compton come out? It's 1988, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay. When did Easy Does It come out?
That was 88 as well.
When did No One Can Do It Better by the DLC come out?
That was 89, 90, something like that.
When did Niggas for Life come out?
That was 91.
When did The Chronic come out, Mike?
92.
When did Doggy Style come out, Mike?
93.
When do you hear Dr. Dre with Nas on Nas Is Coming?
That was 96.
When do you hear Aftermath Presents?
That was 96, 97.
When do you hear 2001?
No, we can go The Firm, too. That was 97.
Firm? When do you hear 2001?
99.
Ain't no damn break.
No, not really. Not
Stop
no 5-year break.
Shame on this nigga for saying that. Like, you like talking about somebody, you didn't do it. Hold on. Dr. Dre more of a forever artist than Kendrick Lamar, and Dr. Dre didn't get to do it. That's what I'm saying. He's evidence that there's some bullshit. Go look at his shit.
Yeah. John Wayne actually clarifying. He says,
Man.
Reasonable Doubt, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Dynasty, the Blueprint 1, Blueprint 2,
Blueprint
and
2.
the Black Album.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
That's a dope run, though. But this is the thing. This is what I'll say. I don't think Volume 3 was, as an album, I think that Volume 3 is one of Jay-Z's, bottom
here's
tier albums.
Here's also how I look at like classic albums. It's like, well, where are the albums that you go back to cite evidence from about the artist's greatness? That's why I always bring up Volume 1 so much. It's like when people talk about Jay's greatness, ain't nobody talking about no damn Volume 3 or no Dynasty album or no Blueprint 2. Ain't nobody talking about that.
I admire the resilience of the Blueprint 2.
You keep admiring the resilience.
Yeah,
You want to talk about some. You want to talk about some
2.
bad beat picker vibes.
Think so?
Where the beats at?
You got Excuse Me, Miss. You got You Don't Know remix. HOV Baby was dope.
HOV Baby is not a dope beat. HOV is
you didn't
dope
like
on
that?
there. HOV is dope.
You didn't like HOV Baby's beat?
I like the lyrics.
Huh.
Beat's not that good.
I like
the beats ain't good.
I like the beat from I'll Show You How to Do This. You know what I'm saying? Sisters and Bitches was dope.
Somehow, some way beat is dope.
Mm-hmm.
The You Don't Know beat
I'll
is
tell
recycled.
You this. Yeah, it's recycled.
Excuse Me, Miss is dope.
Mm-hmm.
What's the
You Want All the Attention, Ma. Yeah, that song was dope.
Meet the Parents beat is dope.
You like the Meet the Parents beat? No, I'm not really with that beat. I don't even know who produced that record.
I don't know who produced all those records. I was like, what is this?
Ab Studio with the super chat says, Book of HOV made me feel bad about Dame Dash. He done did the heavy lifting. Not one Dame pick on the exhibit is crazy. That's rewriting history to me. Now, I think, you know what? I didn't even notice that.
All these guys are petty.
I didn't notice that. And I think that that's unfortunate, and I know Jermaine Dupri was saying something along the lines, this is one of the most creative things he's seen in hip-hop for Hip Hop 50 or whatnot.
It's beautiful.
And somebody brought up the Trap Music Museum that T.I. has here in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And I do feel like, I think both things are dope, right? And I think the Trap Music Museum that T.I. is doing is dope. But people are telling me, and I've never been, they're telling me the Cool Breeze ain't in there, you know what I'm saying? And there's some people that, folks think should be in there who are like right around the corner. And I do think museums and things like this in the library, it does give you that historical aspect. And if things are left out, it does feel like you're trying to rewrite history. You can't erase Dame Dash from your history or Rockefeller history. You just can't do it.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. I mean, and this is no disrespect to Breeze. That might have been an oversight more than a slight, probably, in my estimation.
Based on who it's coming from, I don't think so. I mean, I
said with Cool Breeze.
No, I'm saying, no, T.I., I think his whole angle of trap music comes from the great East Point's Greatest Hits. Yeah. That album, straight up, it does. Nobody was talking Atlanta until Breeze did it. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I think that oversight, I don't want to say it's intentional, but I don't see how somebody like T.I. leaves somebody like Breeze out of a trap music museum unless you feel like somebody might look at that and say, hey, this might be where T.I. got it from.
I get what you're saying. I really, really do. But I think that has something to do with Breeze's output or lack thereof as a solo artist, too. You have to look at it from a businessman's perspective of, does it benefit T.I. as a businessman to include Cool Breeze in the Trap Museum the way that it does with a more notable name that's from the Dungeon family like an Outkast or a Goody Mob? There is the business aspect of it, too. In the case with Jay, though, that was his business partner, Mike. Mm-hmm. Rockefeller, Reasonable Doubt, that's Jay as the front man, but that's Damon Biggs in the back. And so...
Not even. I mean, even the cover of Reasonable Doubt, they're in the artwork.
That's what I mean.
It is what it is.
So I mean, that's the foundation on what his whole legacy is built on. And so to leave Dame out, I don't know, I was calling it petty. I was kind of saying that in jest, Mike. It's not even petty. Like, this is one of those situations where it's like, no, that's sad. It's like, y'all are grown-ass men in y'all 50s. And it's like, to not have Dame be included in it, it's like, no, that ain't how you supposed to run it, fam. Like, that's not that's that internal moral compass where it's like I understand there's business and there might even be proceedings going on, but to leave Dame out, that's just it's not right, Mike.
It's not right.
It's not
you know?
right.
And regardless of whatever they're going through,
but
or
he's
whatever
going to get the pass because of who he is, because he gets all types of passes.
Yeah, I mean it's not right. Because
Right.
at the end of the day, we have to ask ourselves, like, is Rockefeller without Dame's part in the work that Dame put in?
No. Is Jay the good guy if Dame isn't the bad guy is what you need to understand. What if Jay never had Dame and Jay had to be the bad guy? Would people fuck with Jay like that?
That's an interesting point. 36 Chambers of the Super Chat says, leave it to Jay to celebrate 50th anniversary of hip-hop by celebrating his own legacy. At a certain point, the self-indulgence doesn't add up. Release a good album already. That's what people want. Well, I mean, do you think that's a fair point, too, where it's like everyone's doing hip-hop 50 and, I guess, and according to Jermaine Dupri, Jay-Z's addition to hip-hop 50 is this book of HOV. Does that seem self-absorbent?
Where have people been? Like, Mike, where have people been? Like, they're like, oh, my God, this is so self-absorbent. Have you not been listening or paying attention? This nigga Kanye went, Mike, you got me bringing up Kanye now. I can't stand you.
Shout out to Kanye West.
Don't do that. Don't do that. There ain't no shout-outs for you.
I got love for Kanye. Yeah.
Mike, Kanye said, like, he was literally in the middle of the interview and he just paused and he's like, but Jay's selfish. like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Kanye letting you know, he's like, yeah, Jay's selfish. He's just going to take it for himself. It's like, Jay got an ego. Jay's selfish. He's self-indulgent. He been saying this stuff. Like, where have people been? It's like, what be going on, Mike? Like, do I be missing something? Is there some part of the news cycle I've been missing since Jay came out in 96 where people should be surprised that he did this? Like, for real. Like, this is Jay-Z being Jay-Z. It's like, why? It's like when I saw it, it's like, well, it's like it looks like a whole building dedicated to Jay-Z in Brooklyn.
It looked really nice. I mean,
it looks like something Jay would do with his money. I'm like,
it looked really nice. I didn't get an invite, but some of
we're not getting invited anywhere.
Some of our media peers, they clearly were invited, and they were taking all type of photos, selfies, and I just basically saw what was, captured by people that were there. Seemed like a really, really nice event.
All these events that they have are nice. We not going to them.
No, we gonna go. We're gonna go. Max with the super chat says, there is no song of Mr. Morale that's going on K-Dot's greatest hits. The album was a big disappointment, and I'm a big K-Dot fan.
I said that when the album came out, and I got called a hater. I was like, where's the greatest? Remember when I asked Mike?
Where's Esquire?
I said, where's the greatest hit song at on this album when we reviewed it? Do you remember I said that?
Yeah.
I said, what song on here going on his greatest hits?
They could force N95, but it doesn't belong.
Man, if they put imagine this. Imagine trying to put N95 like in between like bitch don't kill my vibe and all right. It's like you better stop that.
Yeah, it's not gonna go. Luis with the super chat says, hearing Coop and Mike going at K-Dot and M is therapy.
Nobody's going at them. See, this is what I'm saying. It's gotten to a point where it's like, and I mean this, you're not allowed to be honest about anything anymore.
No.
It's like if you're honest, it's like you're very problematic.
You're a hater.
No. That's where like the whole very problematic thing for me comes from, because it's like, oh, I guess just me telling the truth is just going to be a problem, I guess. It's like, no. It's like he's not a forever artist. He doesn't have a forever catalog. It took him forever to make his 5th album. It ain't no good.
I don't think he's a forever artist. I think he's very talented, though. I'm not going to take that.
Hold on. You want to talk about a forever artist, Mike? You want to go to that Stevie Wonder run? What was it? He released the album in 71. Hold on. 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74. Took 75 off, 76. 77.
77, yeah.
Then 79 and then 81. No, then 80 with Hotter Than July.
Yep.
In his prime. Let's see. Prince did what? Dirty Mind, Controversy. 1999, Purple Rain,
yep.
Around the World in a Day, Sign of the Times. He did those 6 albums in 7 years?
Yep.
That really happened, right?
That happened.
But Kendrick, a forever artist? You see how fucking crazy that sounds?
I mean, it's his artist, though, like you said.
Like I said, it's like
he
managing.
He got to represent the firm.
It's like representing the firm.
John Wayne with the super chat says, Reasonable Doubt, Blueprint, the Black Album, Volume 1 and Volume 2, arguably 5 classics out of 8 albums. Okay.
No. I'm with you on.
I don't know if Volume 1 is a classic. I think Volume 1 has its great moments, but I think the bad moments kind of take away from that, in my opinion.
See, it's so funny because it's like Sunshine and I Know What Girls Like in the City Is Mine are that terrible, Mike. They're bad. Terrible. They're bad songs. Mm-hmm. But Mike, almost all the other stuff on there is stellar and or classic. Like after those 3 songs, it's either stellar or classic.
We got to go through Volume 1.
Like think about it. It's like how about this? Like outside of those 3 songs, it's like, remember the Real Nigga song with Too Short and Face Off with Sauce Money? Mm-hmm. Those might be the 2 weakest songs after that.
Those songs are cool, and I think the production didn't really hold up like that. Rap Game, Crap Game is actually forgettable outside of the samples that are in the hook.
Some of his most classic stuff is just on there, Mike. It's hard, but I hear you. It's a great album in my opinion. That's what I feel like. It's like I think when it came out, people was like, "Oh, this is just good." No, it was pretty great.
It lets you know that his skills were still there. You know what I'm saying? Even when when you had moments that might have doubted that, and the singles were just. I wasn't a big fan of Who You With either, though. So
no, Mike, I love Who You With.
I wasn't a big fan of it.
No, I love Who You With. The rest of y'all's like vegetables in my presence. Check it. Reminiscing of nothing you ever heard. Iceberg. Slim, baby. Ride rims through the suburbs. Funds come in lump sums. Never ends deferred. Get money like I'm down south. Wednesday the 3rd. Nah, Mike. He's crazy on there.
I never really loved the song.
Mike, I never heard nobody talked about the game that way before. And that's what I've always said that. It's like he gave the game. Like, how about this? Here's what I'll give Jay as far as like, quote unquote, talking about the life. Remember when I talked to you about walking through the Sistine Chapel, and it's like I told you how it's like, well, you can tell how brilliant Raphael is and how great his hand is, but when you get the Michelangelo side, it's like you can see what that motherfucker does with the color. Like his hand is just as good as Raphael's, but what he does with color is different. That's what Jay bought. It's like he gave the game a gloss that it had never seen before, Mike. Like he made that shit so like he almost made it like nonchalant cool, like on the low, to live that way. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The rest of the guys kind of talked about the struggle and the stress of it, and were kind of like roughing around the edges, like G-Rap about it. It's like, no, he kind of made it cool. Yeah. When he's saying funds come in lump sums, never ends deferred. Like he's talking like a businessman, Mike. Yeah. He's talking like an accountant.
The vocabulary.
Right. He's talking like an accountant or a lawyer or an investment banker.
Yeah.
But he's a hustler. Yeah. Nobody had done that before, Mike.
Jay's a very intelligent.
That's what
man.
I'm saying. That's always why, like that Can I Live shit. It's like, no. He's talking like a businessman. Like that's how businessmen talk.
Yeah, he is that. He's always been
that. Yeah.
Jay Short with the super chat says, I seen Prince put out albums or write an album almost every year he was alive. Nas and Snoop put out albums every year. Those are forever artists.
Snoop's a forever artist. Nas is a forever artist. Yes, those are forever artists. That's what I'm saying is like, first of all, part of being a forever artist is sticking around forever.
Yeah. And making music that lasts forever, too.
Like,
that's
think about it, like Stevie Wonder was still making music in the early 90s, Mike, like albums. Stevie been making money, like literally 40 years worth of music. That's a forever artist, Mike. Yeah. Like, don't do that.
KC1 with the super chat says, y'all saying Jay is anti-establishment is laughable. He's taking pics with Roger Goodell. What's wrong with Roger Goodell? I'm not going to get on that soapbox.
First of all.
Y'all not watching the NFL? Nobody's watching football? Y'all not watching the NBA?
First of all, I'm going to be honest with you. Outside the playoffs, I don't touch it too heavy anymore. A lot of that is just about where life has me. Yeah. But, here's what I will tell you. Like, most of us start off anti-establishment, Mike. How many times am I going to have to say this? The problem, the black men in this society who acquire power, money, and affluence is that they start behaving like their white counterparts who were their oppressors. Wow. It's not anything new. And people need to stop acting like what I'm saying isn't real. That exists. That goes on. So Jay may have started off anti-establishment. Is he establishment now? Well, yes. But also, too, Mike, he's been paying people on the low for a long time to be part of the establishment as well.
I think Dame was more of the anti-establishment.
No, Dame is anti-establishment.
And again.
Because Dame is like, no, I'll make the movie myself. No, I'll make the shoes myself. No, I'll do this myself. What you see with Jay is partnership and a brand builder. and in a lot of ways, Mike, he's kind of like a company hostile takeover type of guy. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll brand and absorb a company, make the money he needs to make off of it, break it down, sell it off, go about his fucking business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's being part of the establishment. But this is what I'm saying. Some people start off anti-establishment so that they can infiltrate the establishment and do those things.
That was his way in the game.
But it becomes a dangerous thing based on integrity, moral compass.
Jonathan Coleman with the super chat says, Mike, do you think Book of HOV is an album in the future? I mean, an album about what? Again, I think that's
very blasphemous, but
yeah, I think that's the thing moving forward. And you and I have spoken about that on this show. Like, what does a Jay album sound like moving forward? Is it more 444 or is it more, I guess something new? I don't know. Is it more Blueprint 3-ish? And I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. But if you name an album Book of HOV, I don't really know where that goes sonically or, direction-wise, lyrically or musically.
It leaves a lot to be said or desired, but also too, Mike, it's like I'm not like necessarily. I've said this plenty of times, like even with the Nas run, it's like I wasn't expecting these projects. I was not. I, as a lifelong Nas fan, was not sitting around waiting for this run. I was not. Mike, you've been watching me write the reviews, and was doing shows. Like I was not. Mike, think about this. Before King's Disease came out, how often did we talk about Nas at all? Was it any
Not
show
much,
topic at all?
Unless it was like nostalgic talk, what I
Right,
mean?
unless we were like covering like an Illmatic or It Was Written or Stillmatic based topic, it seemed like, you know what I'm saying? There was no traction on that. Like, he started the conversation of us talking about him with the quality music making. I wasn't sitting around waiting for no damn Nas album.
Yeah, so if it happens, it's going to happen.
I'm a grown-ass man. Like, Mike, remember, I literally found out King's Disease was coming out when you told me on Thursday it was about to come out on Friday. I remember you text me at like 9 o'clock. I'm like, oh, that's in a few hours. I'm just going to stay up and check it out.
Yeah.
Like, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't even know Ultra Black was out, Mike.
Yeah.
I ain't know shit.
Jay Short with a 10-4 Koofy hat super chat. He says, is Jay moving into this artistic space because he feels his legacy at number one cultural icon is threatened by Ye? I don't know the answer to that. Charles Manning with the super chat
it's
says,
amazing how we talk about a man that hasn't made a great album in a long time. We spend so much time talking we spend so much time, Mike. We spend so much time. I'm not joking. See, everybody about to catch one today because I'm tired. Kendrick, Kanye, Eminem haven't made great albums in a very long time. We talk about Nas on this show because this is a hip-hop podcast, and we talk about music. He's been making great music.
Yeah.
I'm tired of Kanye. I'm tired of Kendrick. I'm tired of M. Make some dope shit.
Well, that's not going to happen from him.
It's not going to happen from Kanye either, Mike.
Sure, he can do that.
No. He might executive produce something dope from somebody else. No. He might make something for somebody else, Mike, but even you need to understand he hasn't made anything great since My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Nigga, we were in our 20s when that shit happened.
You're saying that Kanye West is done?
We were in our 20s when he made a great album, Mike.
So
we are in our 4Ds now.
He hadn't made anything you
like?
like?
The last time Kanye made something great, where Kanye West was the artist on it, was My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. That is 2010. It is 2023, Mike. That means we were in our 20s. We are in our 40s.
Yeah, you hear that, man? Got to have a great album coming. He can do it. I believe he can do it. I don't think, M can do it. But, that's just my opinion. And Kendrick, I think Kendrick has the opportunity to do it too. Charles Manning with the super chat says,
never mind. I ain't even.
Charles Manning with the super chat says, Nas took his time off from music to get all the business straight. Now he finally can make music when he wants. I think Jay is taking his time off now, handling more business and time with his family. Yeah, I believe that too. Mrs. Smith with the super chat says, I feel Jay/Rock Nation were inspired by Tupac's exhibit last year in LA. Wake me when I'm free. He pretended he's above it, but he keeps tabs on everything. He's obsessed with being the undisputed number one. Didn't know about that Pac exhibit. That sounds very interesting. I'm going to look into that. KC1 with the super chat says, Jay-Z hasn't made a good album in 20 years. Damn. 20? I'll say
Black Album.
Blueprint 3.
Blueprint 3, yeah.
Oh, you talking about classic, though.
Classic would be Black Album.
I mean, yeah.
Great would be Blueprint 3. I thought it was great.
I think American Gangster's great. I think Blueprint 3 was great for what he was trying to do. But if we're talking about Jay-Z great albums, I'd probably say American Gangster before the Blueprint 3, in my opinion.
I could agree with you on that. How about this? I think there's more classic Jay on American Gangster, like Rock Boys, Sweet. I know. Party Life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we get into this Magic 2 talk, because I think that's really going to ride us out, what do you think about Drake bringing J. Cole on stage out in Montreal? And he says, man, he wants to be featured on J. Cole's new album.
You want to know what? The more time goes along, the more Drake makes me a believer, Mike, and I mean that. Because you want to know what? We talk about the things that hip-hop is rooted in, and we talk about the fundamental and the tangible things. Like, let's address some things. First of all, Drake is battle-tested.
Oh, yeah.
Extremely battle-tested. He's also extremely talented. Very few people can write their verses and sing their own hooks, and it actually be quality and at a high level. Like, there's a reason Ja Rule had a whole bunch of different people singing those hooks he was writing. It's because he couldn't sing them. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Drake has talent. He's battle-tested. But he has some of the intangible things that old school artists has. Mike, I'm going to tell you what, he's petty. I love it. I love that he's petty because it's one of those things. No, that's part of it. This shit that you see Jay doing, even with the whole it ain't hard to tell shit on the museum, it's like petty. It's like, okay, game on. You hear little stuff they be saying, petty. It's like, no, that's part of it. This is a competitive spear, and Drake understands that, and he relishes it more than some other people who haven't made great albums in a while, who shall remain nameless for the rest of this show, Mike.
Well, I feel like you're talking about Kendrick.
Nameless.
What I will say, it is interesting.
Petty.
When Kendrick had something to gain from going at Drake, it was wide open. And now that Drake's barking back, it's nothing. It's silence. You know what I mean? I do think that Drake even bringing Cole on stage and saying he wants to get on Cole's album is a dig at Kendrick as well.
It's great.
I mean, he just got off of stage talking about, artists that take 4 or 5 years to record an album. So, obviously Kendrick's there.
Hey, who shall remain nameless? It's not like he named names. They shall remain nameless, Mike. These people taking forever to make these projects that people keep on gravitating to and waiting for what? Nameless.
And what I will say, I don't think that Cole and Drake have actually collaborated since Drake has been this huge and since Cole has been this iconic for their generations. And I think that if they do make a record together, it'll be huge. It'll be a huge record. It'll be a huge song.
No, I told you.
Actually, we always talk about, or people always talk about Cole and Kendrick making that album together. What if he said, fuck it? You know what? What about me and Cole making an album together?
Hey, imagine
That's
this.
the finishing move.
Hey, imagine this. Imagine if, because here's the thing. Drake, producer-wise, gonna get whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine him singing hooks and J. Cole is on the bars.
Yeah.
Think you may
song
have something
structure.
here.
The song structure of Drake and the bars of Cole.
The song structure of Cole too.
Yeah,
that's what I'm
too.
saying. Like Cole, by some, for whatever internal reason, has taken on a lot of his career on himself, singing his own hooks, doing his own beats, like all that. Having somebody like, it's very problematic, Mike.
36 Chambers with the super chat says, we're talking about how Kanye hasn't dropped a good album since 2010, but not acknowledging Jay hasn't dropped a quality project since 2007.
Ain't nobody talking about
Jay. We need
Jay.
good music from him, too.
Ain't nobody talking about Jay.
Since we hold him so high.
Ain't nobody talking about Jay. And I hate to be the one to break it to y'all. It's like Jay's like legend and stature as an MC is going to be still far greater than Kanye's could ever fucking pray to be. Get over that.
As an MC?
As an MC, period.
As an overall artist, though, I don't think so.
I mean, Mike, you can say that, but in the rap sphere, he'll never be fucking Jay.
No,
so
I get
stop
that.
So
Jay
cannot.
elite.
No, Jay cannot make something since 2007 because you can go look at 96 to 2007. Kanye ain't got it like that as an MC. Stop that. In this rap sphere, he'll never be Jay.
I think the problematic part of it is the fact that we continue to, I guess, uphold and almost shrine-like type of exhibits. But we're just getting verses here and there, and people are acting like the verses are full albums. Like, I agree with you, though. I feel like Jay is solidified. He did the work. He is who he is.
Right.
But they're sitting here acting like anything he puts out is the greatest thing ever, and I think that's a little bit off.
It's not that, but ain't none of these niggas made Reasonable Doubt.
No, that's real.
Kanye, M, or Kendrick.
Well, I do think that the College Dropout
no, it's not.
is in the conversation between the two. Yeah, you think the College Dropout, you think Reasonable Doubt's that much better than the College Dropout?
Clear.
I think you're just speaking lyrically. Musically, do you really have that argument? I mean, you got Slow Jams on there. You got Through the Wire on there. You got Jesus Walks on there.
You want to run down right quick? You want to run down right quick?
I don't care what people say.
You want to run down right quick?
Pull up. That wasn't part of the show today.
No, pull it up. You're not about to give that to Kanye like that.
AB Studios with the super chat says a lot of people disagree, Coop. He doesn't make the same album to appease the same group of people. That's what's separate about him as an artist. I agree with that 100%, AB Studios.
Mike, pull up College Dropout.
Jay Short with the super chat says, Coop, if these guys made great albums this year like they did last year, we wouldn't have to bring up the same guys. When Thought, Pusha, and Freddie was out, nobody was trying to talk about Ye or Dre.
Mike, we don't care or can't knock the hustle.
Can't knock the hustle.
Politics as usual or All Falls Down?
All Falls Down.
Wrong.
Oh, see, now we got to stop
Spaceship
now.
or Brooklyn's
Finest? So you're
Finest?
telling me, hold on.
Spaceship or Brooklyn's Finest?
No, Coop. Based on what? Just your opinion? You're really going to sit here and say...
Politics as usual is one of Jay's best songs.
It's a dope record. It's a great record, but it's not better than All Falls Down.
That's fine. Spaceship or Brooklyn's Finest?
Brooklyn's Finest.
Okay. Jesus Walks or Dead Presidents? 2.
I personally like Dead Presidents, but the answer is Jesus Walks.
Wrong.
No, it's Jesus Walks.
Jay's whole legacy, which, by the way, involves putting Kanye on, is built on that record. There is no Kanye without that record.
Which record's more important?
Dead Presidents. Listen to what listen to what you were saying.
Which one's more important to the
Hold on. Who brought Kanye in the game on a major level?
I feel you, man. But again, so Dead Presidents is based on the fact that it's the foundation of Jay is just bigger and better than anything. Huh?
But the foundation of Jay, is part of why Kanye is here.
I know. I mean, so we can say that about the whole album. So the argument's already over. So the whole album is the reason why Kanye's
we're comparing
here.
songs, but Mike, you even said it.
I love Their President.
You even said it. Like, this is what I'm saying, Mike. More important doesn't mean better. What song is better? You're talking about what song is more important. The song that's better is Dead Presidents.
I think Jesus Walks could be better.
Where? Outside of the message.
The production, the message,
Mike,
the
hook,
beat, all of that. The sample.
No.
What do the people
Put it
think?
in the chat.
Well, I don't have the capabilities to put a poll up right now, but
what kind of production team do we have?
Nah, we'll work that out. We'll put it up there after the show, though.
I want a station head with Reasonable Doubt versus the College.
We could do that.
That's what I want. This is
since we don't have a whole lot of time.
You got me campaigning for Jay while he's putting It Ain't Hard to Tell in Brooklyn libraries. Mike, we didn't talk about Lil Baby and Gunna either. We got to talk about that right quick because Lil Baby is opening restaurants in Atlanta while his tour is not getting sales. Why do you think that is?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know any of the information about his tour, but what I will say, like, I think that this album, that he recently put out could have been better. I think that people are going to gravitate to the music. I also think that, the power in people like Baby and Gunna is to stay consistent and stay out there. I think that Baby has kind of been away from the music a little bit. And when he did drop the album, it was a lot of songs on it, but, not a lot of the records connected in the way that, some of these records that Gunna just put out connected. Fuck You Mean is connecting.
I mean, it's number one. Everywhere.
I mean, it's a dope record too.
No, it's dope. But here's what I'm saying, Mike, is that one guy, his brand is hurting, but his music is still thriving.
Yeah.
And in numbers wise, you're seeing that. But you got another guy whose brand, Mike, is thriving, but
I think that's when people are getting pulled away from the music, right? Like Gunna has nothing else to focus on but the music.
I mean,
whereas Baby's doing all this other stuff, and the music is almost secondary, but the music is the driving force at the end of the day. You're an artist.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, is it though? Because one thing that I've learned even from us doing this podcast, that the branding and the music are now officially really two separate things. It's like the music is like a gateway drug into the branding now, Mike. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, here, roll this up and hit it a few times, and if you fly away, like, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? You can just go on to the next thing. It's like music has become a conduit to the branding. And what I'm saying is that Lil Baby's brand is officially bigger and better than his music. And it's like it used to be you had to have more of a long time. It's like you used to have to work from like, look at how long it took Dre to really boss up, Mike, since we've been talking about Dr. Dre today. Like, look at how long it took for Dr. Dre to really like have aftermath, like something to like really, really call his own, like all the way. Like, look at that, Mike. Like, it took a long time. You look at Lil Baby's path, and it's like, damn, that happened fast. That like the music stopped mattering. And if you look at it, it's like, and who's to say that it wouldn't happen with Gunna had this not happened, Mike? Because I'm gonna tell you what, it's like, I like Thug, but to be honest with you, it's like I felt that way about Thug for a long time, and I stopped listening to his music because I felt like, you know, he stopped doing like music that was like quality, that as opposed to the early stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, his brand then got bigger than the name Future. And that's another reason why I respect Drake, because Drake got a bigger brand than everybody, and he be out here on stage getting petty with people still, Mike. That's what I'm saying. That's hard to do. He don't got to care.
Yeah. LP with the super chat says, ironically, Nas came closer to Ill with It Was Written than Jay ever did to making an album as great as Reasonable Doubt, but never gets that pushback. Jay is graded on a curve. Blue Collar Hustle with the super chat says, how do you feel about Drake dissing Childish Gambino? He was just responding to Childish Gambino dissing him.
I'm about to say, didn't Childish Gambino say something first?
Yeah.
Okay. People be petty, man.
It's great. Yeah. A lot of the fans out there are speculating that Nas is releasing Magic 2 on Friday because of a couple of Instagram posts that were kind of cryptic and people didn't understand them. So, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's what the people want, but
I don't know. Like, here's what I know. I've pulled up on my Twitter for like the last 4 or 5 days, and people have been like tagging me and like saying all this stuff and asking questions. I haven't responded to anything, and I'm gonna tell you why. Well, it's like, I mean, I think everybody knows now. It's like, well, I talked to somebody inside the camp, and so it's like when all this talk started coming out, it's like, well, that put me in like, lockdown mode in a sense about my relationship with the plug. You get what I'm saying? Because the plug and I don't even really talk about music anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so for me, I've been on Operation Lockdown because it's like somebody's looks like is leaking information. Well, that makes me a motherfucking suspect. You understand?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So about being a suspect to this crime, I've been on lockdown.
Removing yourself.
Right. I've had to remove myself from the situation about my relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, well, you know, I have a relationship with somebody inside the camp now, and I do media.
Can we even talk about the possibility of
here's what's crazy about it to me, Mike. It's like, listen to what I'm saying. I talk to somebody inside the camp on a regular basis, and I've heard none of this.
Yeah.
But then again, we don't talk about him much. We talk about the business. We talk about this podcast, Mike, more than we talk about, you know what I'm saying? His business. His business is thriving, in case people hadn't noticed. Yeah. We're still on the come up. You know what I'm saying? So our conversations, business and music-wise, is more about shit that, according to hip-hop, should be doing. But even about, like, all the stuff that I've been getting and people hitting up on me, it's kind of forced me to lock down about my relationship. So it's like, I haven't heard any of this, have no confirmation, no nothing, have, like, literally not heard anything. I've heard what everybody else has heard, which is like, well, he's been recording. Well, he alluded to that already.
Yeah. Jay Short with the super chat says, Lil Baby using that Rick Ross formula. I love Ross, but nobody is looking at him for music anymore. Yeah, Ross can drop whenever.
No, but look at Ross's steps though. Ross didn't just pop up in Evander Holyfield's house like in 1 or 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, Mike. That was a process.
Yeah.
That happened. That probably didn't happen for Ross till like 2015, 2016. It's like, nah, he came out. How long we been listening to Ross? When did Hustling come out?
That was like 05.
04? 05?
Yeah.
Right.
Shout out to Ross. Ross is doing it.
Ross is real big.
So this is what...
figuratively, too.
Yeah. I think somebody alluded to this earlier. Do you think there is a possibility, maybe not even Friday or whatever? I don't know what Nas is posting on his Instagram, these images or videos for.
I just
But
watched
do you
those.
think there is a? Oh, go ahead.
Well, I just watched those for the first time, Mike, and just quite frankly, I don't know what the fuck that means.
Right.
Why-
I don't know what it means either.
Like,
but
how is that? Like, how did those two Instagram posts you just had me look at allude to an album?
Well, I think that in
Or
today's
maybe
time,
it's just early and I'm tired, I'm lost. Am I missing something?
I think in today's time when artists delete everything, it's album time. You know what I mean? And I think the fact that those are the only two posts up there, obviously, is something that he wants people to pay attention.
those are the only two posts on the page?
Yeah. So everything else is gone. And usually when artists do that, it's album time. What do you think that even if it's not this Friday, right? Do you think that if Magic 2 comes, right, and it is in a similar vein as its predecessor or whatnot, the first Magic, do you think the reaction is different from mass media now than it was, in 2000? What was that? 21 Christmas Eve.
I think Magic. I think people tried it with Magic. I think the media tried it with Magic, like almost like it's like, man, this is brilliant. We ain't gonna say nothing though.
They didn't rate it.
We're gonna keep on. No. We're gonna keep on doing what we're doing. But I think what happened. And here's the thing about it. It seems funny because Magic has very core hip hop vibes to it, Mike.
Right.
Like in a way that mainstream media, even mainstream black media, can be like, nah, too core hip hoppy at this point.
Hip Hop 50 is a good year to do it.
We can, you know what I'm saying? We can bypass it. But I think what happened is when he made KD3, album wise, I think he really touched the nerve of the media, of the black men in the journalistic media and on the music side who had been covering this and covering him for a long time, but not covering him properly. Listen to what I'm saying. I think he emotionally connected with them on a grown man level, like, hold up, I need to pause for a second. Dude is almost 50 making albums at this level. It deserves to be covered because a lot of the people who haven't been covering him properly are around his fucking age, Mike, like Ebro. And so what you see, like there's been a change in the past year in how he's disseminated his hip hop and his information. And it's kind of gone more back to the guy that we've all kind of maybe known and grown up with more, quote unquote. Correct? That's that KD3 effect. So I think it's going to get more love than Magic just because I think he's influenced that sector of black men in the media that are around his age demographic. We will fall on the lower end of that because he's 50 and we're like early 40s, but we're technically kind of part of some of that demographic. But I think he's influenced us in that demographic, that over 40 media. Like, damn, like that's hard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Not an easy thing to pull
because
off.
here's the thing. It's like you can call Magic a fluke if you want to, but then KD3 comes out and it's like, oh, man, it's like, okay. Like
Harry with the super chat says, IG post by Nas is a video of a magician, Harry Houdini, performing his famous straitjacket escape trick. That sounds like Magic 2 confirmation.
Oh, when did it drop?
Well, that one was about 3 hours ago. The Houdini.
That's what I'm saying. So why people been in my Twitter for the past week and I ain't been able to talk?
Well, I don't know if the first clip was something like that, but I know the video that he's speaking about was the one that was about 3 hours ago.
But you get what I'm saying? But people been pulling up on me about it for a minute now. I just been looking at the thread like, I know, play those games.
Jay Short with the super chat says, let's keep it real.
I like the plugs I met, Mike.
Jay Short with the super chat says, let's keep it real. They have to talk about Magic, right? I mean, other than Gunna, who else is out right now? 2023 has been slow. Yeah, it has. 36 Chambers with the super chat says, KD3 got more mainstream and podcast outlets to review it than the other projects Nas released in this run. I wonder if it's that I wonder if that generates enough buzz for Magic 2 to thrive. Hope it's called Still Magic. That'd be nice. I like that title. Christopher Hogan with the super chat says, Bun put out an album and has Trill burgers. No excuses. Stefan Young with the super chat says, "What up, Mike and Coop? What up, Stefan? I got your emails too. We're gonna check those out." NDU Jams with the super chat says, Nas on his Nas on his post has 2 wands and Houdini doing tricks. It is Magic 2 time. What do you say to all of this excitement?
No, I hear, but what you just told me, I don't think you're hearing me, Mike. Or maybe the people not hearing me. You just told me that these posts are recent. I mean, first of all, I haven't. I follow him on Instagram. I really don't be. I think everybody knows me by now. I don't really be following stuff like that. Right. So these posts came out in the last 3 hours, correct?
Let's see, man.
Because
let's do this live, man. We'll do this live.
I can show you
because everybody's tuned in. These are videos. The first video.
I can go to my Twitter and this shit been happening.
Actually, the first video was 5 days ago.
Okay.
The one that people are talking about now with the straight jacket and the Houdini trick, that was 3 hours ago. So that's where people are getting this from. Actually, let me shout out to my people over here. I think I saw another post. Okay. Somebody says breaking. Nas announces Magic 2. And yeah, the 2 emojis say that it's 2 magic wands. You see it? You on there right now?
No, I'm on my Twitter trying to figure out when people started harassing me.
No, this is it right here. 2 magic wands. Coop was actually on the road when he posted this, so.
Right. Oh, this was.
Yeah.
Oh,
this was 3 hours.
Magic wands? I don't have my glasses. What kind of shit is this?
Those are magic wands.
Okay,
bro.
if you say so.
Those are magic wands. So, yeah. So people are saying Magic 2 Friday.
Okay.
If that happens, we got to do some sort of listening thing. Boycott activity with the super chat says, can you do a poll to see how many people buy Nas's album versus stream? Apple Music, Spotify, etc. We can do that. Leroy Green with the super chat says, whose album's going to be better, Coop? Nas or Benny?
Nas. Have you not been paying attention to what's been going on, Leroy?
So if Magic 2 drops Friday, what are your expectations? Are there any?
Well, here's what I know. I know, in my opinion, his MCing on every project, in my opinion, he's done something different that's special on every project. I think on the first project, what's special is the fact that he actually showed that he could work with the younger artist and connect. Like both. Like Spicy's important. Spicy's a banker. 27 Summers is a banker. Blue Benz is a banker. These are records that even the younger generation can vibe to, too. You feel what I'm saying? So I think he proved that. On KD2, he proved that he still had the ability to make greatest hits level records. A Nobody with Lauryn Hill. Definitely Store Run. Mike, Store Run might be the best song of this run in a vacuum.
Think so?
Because it's the one song where I'm like, no, that belongs on his greatest hits somewhere when I hear it. Because it's a greatest hit is like, how about this? Most of Stevie Wonder's greatest hits is going to be like really beautiful songs because that's what he does best. It's like Nas's nostalgic rap game and storytelling game is where he probably like just goes somewhere else mostly, and it's like that's what Store Run is. We haven't heard him rap in that nostalgic format on that level in a classic setting like that, and the hook and like no, it's like that. And so I think KD2 proved that he could still make classic records, and Mike, that he had become Biggie like at doing all the things. A Brunch on Sunday, a Death Row East, Mike. Yeah, you know I was gonna bring up Death Row East.
Yeah, of course.
A Death Row East at the height of the beef, Mike. On Magic, he proved he could still rhyme like the guy that we thought was going to be the greatest MC of all time when we first heard him.
Yep.
And on KD3, he proved that he pretty much had no limits and bounds as an MC. It's like, oh, no, pick a beat, any beat. I can do it all by myself.
Yeah, I think the flow is very much highlighted on KD3.
Well, it's the flow because of the beat paces and the switch and the samples used and the fact that there's no fucking guest appearances, Mike.
All 17 records.
It's a solo mission, Mike.
Total solo mission. Off after a run of 4 albums like
right.
this.
Who the
It's
fuck?
very incredible.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I think that's the part about KD3 people are missing. It's like, y'all know he just made that after making 4 albums, right?
3 albums.
3, sorry. This is album number 4. It's like, no. It's like you just made 3 albums and that's what you have for your 4th album?
Mm-hmm.
As in you're getting better?
And it's hard to think that he doesn't have more. So, you know, if you got 2 magic wands and you got Houdini in the video, I think there could be a magic too.
And Mike, I know this for a fact, and I'll say this now. It's like, I know an album got recorded between KD1 and KD2 that none of us have heard outside of the camp. So it's like there's been a whole nother album that's been done that's actually like a couple years old now.
I'm excited, man.
So it's like, if this is album number 5 in 3 years, is it 5 in 3 years?
Yeah. Because
it feels like
2020,
it feels like KD1 was like May.
Yeah, 5 in 3 years. This would be 5 albums in 3 years.
This would be 5 albums in 39 months.
Something like that.
Yeah, it'd be 5 albums in 38. 5 albums in 38 months.
Yeah, after being in the game nearly 30 years.
Mike, if you go look at the quality of it, only the greatest artists ever have done this.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean rappers, Mike.
Just period, man.
Talking about Prince and Stevie Wonder for real now. That's what I've been saying. It's like, I don't think people understand how special this run is. Stop looking at it in a hip-hop context if this album drops Friday. And if this album, how about this? If this album is anywhere as great as these other projects are, Mike, it's the equivalent.
He's already number 1, man.
He's already number 1.
This is Tom Brady stuff,
Mike, it's the distancing now.
Yeah.
It's that guy's number 1, and now we have a new tier, because he can re-tier it. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, well, he's number 1, and so there's only that tier for him, and then everybody else has to start falling into other tiers. There's that in it potentially, but it's just really in the fact that it's like, no, if this album is, how about this? If this album is lyrically what Magic is on any level, and song-wise what KD2 and 3 are, and connects the way KD, like if it does some of all those things like I think that it might, then like, yeah, Mike, it's like you got to start thinking about him in artist terms. Like, how about this? Like you say Kanye is the greatest artist ever? I say bullshit because Kanye can't do this.
I mean, I think that's fair.
You feel me?
I think when I look at Ye, I'm thinking of the overall abilities from a production end, from just an overall creative end.
But Nas about to have more classic and great albums than Kanye has made and Mike, and produce.
No.
You feel what I'm saying?
I mean, I think that,
like Kanye might have 4 classics over here and 4 classics over there. It's like Nas might have that.
I think as a writer, he is just in a whole another level. And you know, when we talked about all of that storytelling, and if we actually made a real list of his storytelling records, I mean, just based on what people were saying and some of the stuff we missed out, there's at least 50 out there.
I told you, Mike.
There's nobody you can do that for.
We would have to do the actual stories that we know are stories, and then the songs that have stories.
Exactly. I'm not even counting those. I'm counting the end-to-end storytelling songs. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with that, you got 50. And when you look at the rest of his counterparts, I mean, you would struggle to get 15 stories out of very great storytellers. You know what I mean? At least end-to-end stories. And so that puts him in a league of his own in that perspective. And him doing this with these albums this late in his career and still having this level of intensity and still being the lyricist that he's always been. He came in the door as one of the elite lyricists. I mean, he's the greatest. It is what it is.
Yeah, he's the greatest. I mean, I think for me, if we're doing a prognostication, you know what my biggest question is? And this is what I mean. I think sometimes people ask the wrong questions, or maybe I just think different. Mike, my biggest question is Hit Boy doing this project, if there is an actual project coming?
Hit Boy was in the comment section with, Flames and stuff, so many people assume that
that's his brother now, so that's just going to be like love and support. Like Hit Boy being in our comments, that don't mean he gave us a beat.
It's a little different with Nas, but I got you.
That's what I'm saying, because it's Nas and because of what Nas has done for Hit Boy's production catalog with these albums. Of course, he's gonna put up a fire sign whether he did production
it's not
or not.
a given. It's not a given,
Right.
but we hope.
Like
I hope that's what it is.
How about this? When Griselda be dropping projects, I hear artists throw up the flames and throw up the sign that ain't even on the album. It's like that's what you do when it's home team.
But
you know
in this sense, I hope if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of deal with this. And based on what I've been hearing from Hit Boy recently, yes, we need Hit Boy to be doing this album. Because honestly, it's unfair to anybody else who would be coming in doing this. You really want to stand up to this run that's going on?
I mean, you can't tell Nas what to do, for one.
Of course not.
And then let's also look at the fact that it's like, well, he did just do a joint with Metro, Mike.
He did.
And doing a joint with Metro got him 5 million extra Spotify viewers.
So you think Magic 2 could possibly be Metro in the end?
I mean, no. I'm not even saying Metro for in the end, but what I'm saying is like, what if Hit Boy, Alchemist, and Metro are on there?
That'd be incredible.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what if he took the guys from this era that are like, you know what I'm saying, at the top of the food chain and did it that way? I mean, who gonna tell him not? Who gonna tell him no?
Yeah. 36 Chambers with the super chat says, 5 albums in less than 3 years. August 2020 was KD1. 5 albums in 35 months is a special run that we should be looking at as a new milestone for legends. I agree.
Hey, Mike, that's every 7 months. That's past any output that Stevie or Prince ever did.
Jay Short with the super chat says, if Magic 2 is classic, are people going to start looking at this as his peak, or will it be forever Illmatic? I mean, I think even putting this out, and if it's at a certain level, I feel like this is his peak, in my opinion.
This is what I'm saying. That's okay. So people have to understand, when you're saying peak, that's what I mean. It's like, no, he might be our greatest artist now too, because when people think of his peak, you're thinking of lyrically what he did with Illmatic and It Was Written.
Right.
The full encompassing artist, no, Mike, this is the peak. That's what I mean about it's like, this is unprecedented. Nobody's been this great this late in any genre of music.
Yeah, I've been counting.
History.
No, I've been
looking around, Mike.
Yeah.
I be checking. I be researching people. It's like, how old was such and such when they made such and such? It's like, no, nobody's been this great this
I
late.
remember how impressed I was when Madonna made Confessions of the Dance Floor, and that was 2004. And she was
like our age now.
She was
like
22.
41.
She was 22 years into her career,
She
which was impressive at that
42,
point.
43, right?
Nah, she was in her late 40s at that time.
She couldn't have been over 45, Mike. 45, 46.
04?
Because you got to think about it.
She was 46, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, because she was born 58. But yeah.
But think about this. So
that was impressive. That was unprecedented at that point.
So think about it. Imagine if she would have done that 3 or 4 more consecutive times before 50.
Yeah. Blue Collar Hustle with a super chat says 5 LPs since 19. 5 for every year missed. 13 through 17. The fans are doing the math. I love it. Mr. J. Davis with the super chat says, it's not just 5 albums in 3 years. It's 5 high-quality projects. Many rappers do not have 5 high-quality projects in their entire catalog.
Oh, no.
I'm excited.
No, we're talking about the level. I mean, we've often talked about guys that make multiple projects within a year. None of them have been as good as this.
Yeah.
I mean, how about
the levels matter?
How about this? This is what I mean. He might be our greatest artist. You can start putting this run in context with whole other artists who you think are close to him, whole catalog. Like, no disrespect to Cole or Drake or even Kendrick. If this album sounds like I think it's going to be sound, them niggas ain't got 5 albums like the last 5 he just made. And that's not bringing up Illmatic, It Was Written, Stillmatic, The Lost Tapes. I Am for some people that seem to love I Am.
Andrew Williams with the super chat says Nas is in a zone right now, like he was in 94 to 2002. Nobody has ever been on a run like this late in his career, except for Tom Brady. Mike Jack status. Yeah. Esquire with the super chat says, any possibility of a show / station head Friday? Yeah, I think we got to do something. We'll talk about it.
I gotta work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we might.
But even if it was like a Thursday at midnight thing, like we did.
Yeah. Thursday at midnight, you got me.
Yeah.
You got me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't think about it that way. Oh yeah.
Because we did that for KD3.
Oh no. We can run that. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's more about my black ass getting home from work. You know what I'm saying?
Jay Short with the super chat says, Coop, can you give any insight as to why the album between KD1 and KD2 wasn't released?
Absolutely not. Next question. Be happy I told you. I waited like, Mike, I found that out in like November of last year.
Well, listen,
be happy
man.
I'm telling you in July of this year. And now I'll tell you what, here's one thing, and let me say this because I know we got to get out of here soon. Like, I've learned so much from the glove and from the plug.
Yeah.
Because what the glove said in the interview matches up with how the plug talks to me and about how things even work behind the scenes. It's like, no, I knew about that album in November. But it's like, no, certain shit has to clear before I would even ever give that to you. Mm-hmm. And I'll still never fucking tell you anything else about it. Yeah. You know, just like Glove now, it's like, he's sharing shit that he's known for years. Mm-hmm. First of all, you got to ask people the right questions. I asked him the right questions, but between the two have told me a lot and showed me a lot about the behind the scenes work. So it's like I kind of move that way now too, that I've learned. It's like when you know better, you do better and shit.
Yeah, can't say everything. Mad Max in the super chat says, all right, now old heads is losing it. KD series is good, not classic. Talking about Dot, Cole, and Drake's discography not being better.
They don't have
that. You're on crack.
No. Show me the 5 albums. Like, if this album is comparable to the previous 4, Mike, you're gonna have to show me 5 albums from those guys.
I think you're speaking in albums terms. I think that
that's what I said, though.
And I think that Mad Max is thinking whole discographies terms.
They don't want to do a discography conversation.
As far as features, as far as singles.
Cut that, Mike.
And they're talking about in this 5 album scope. Now, we know, obviously, in the overall.
They don't have a discography conversation with this man.
I'm talking about absurd. In the 5 albums, though.
That's what I'm saying. Like doing the 5 album thing is being kind to them. They don't want to have a discography conversation. But what I'm saying is if this album is comparable to the previous 4 that we've heard, show me the 5 projects that those men have made like that. Because I haven't heard them. Have you? Like, I'm not talking out the side of my neck. Name 5 J. Cole. Name the 4 J. Cole projects that match up with these albums.
I mean, people would say Born Center. You would say, you don't like Born Center like that? No Friday Night Lights for you? No Forest Hill Drive. Hold on, we got some more super chats. Obviously, my man Mad Max is gonna come in on this one.
Forest Hills Drive, maybe.
Mad Max says KD 1 middle portion wasn't all that. KD 2 after Nobody wasn't good. KD 3 has 3 skips. I'm happy you old head niggas got something for yourself, but don't ever diss my generation's goats. You and Mad Max need to square up.
Mad Max, you have learned nothing in all this time of watching this show. These niggas don't be making albums like that. They shits don't be holding. It's not my fault. You should talk to them about it. It's not my fault that it don't hold water like it should, Mike.
36 Chambers.
It's not my problem. Mad Max ain't running around playing Born Center and To Pimp a Butterfly.
I don't know. Maybe
we still play Illmatic and It Was Written. That's my whole point.
I still play those albums too, though.
You play Born Center, Mike?
It's been a minute.
Thank you.
36 Chambers with the super chat.
Last time you played To Pimp a Butterfly, Mike, and you wasn't on a road trip.
A couple of months ago.
No, when you wasn't on a road trip, Mike.
I'm trying to think.
Right.
I'll go to like Hood Politics.
The album, Mike, not your favorite songs. When the last time you played To Pimp a Butterfly and you wasn't on a road trip, Mike?
It's been a minute.
When did you wake up and be like, ooh, I can't wait to hear that To Pimp a Butterfly today. I need to hear that today.
Yeah,
I don't think so. You don't wake up like, oh my God, I can't wait to hear Born Center or Forest Hills Drive today. Stop fucking playing. Stop playing. You don't be doing that.
36 Chambers with the super chat says KD3 doesn't have skips. That's a wild take. Jay Short with the super chat says, if you do a Kendrick versus King's Disease, it would be closer than it should be. I'll say that.
Mike, Magic takes a lot of those records on Good Kid, Mad City off the board. It ain't going to go the way people think it going to go.
We should do that. I mean, I'll take Kendrick's catalog. I'll do that. Brother Gabe with the super chat says,
Run it all.
So when 50 said he was on KD4 earlier this year, maybe he really was on Magic too. What other features would y'all want to see? Rocky worked well for part 1. Okay, yeah, I think that's a good one to take us out on. Magic 2, you already spoke to the possible production. What features would you like to see on Magic 2? I know you said Ray last time for KD3.
I mean, I'm about to say, we talking personal or we talking about what works? Because this is what I mean about the Metro thing. It's like, if doing a record with Metro can go get you 5 million extra views. Think about this. If you have 8 million of something and doing one record on a soundtrack can accrue 5 million on one platform for you, it's like, I might be inclined to make those type of decisions. You know what
Well, I was going to say, I think that the Metro thing was more so the Spider-Man soundtrack and Metro as well, but this would have to be more so about the featured artist, I would imagine.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. I think this is what I mean about if Hit Boy is doing this, because here's the thing. Some plug talk since we actually have been doing all of this. She be the one to be giving me some flex about calling Hit a top 10 producer. I'd be like, well, he's better than Pete Rock. He just hasn't made They Reminisce Over You or The World Is Yours. I said, but everything else says he's better. And so what I would really hope, appearance, whatever, that there is a stellar record on there that Hit produced. Because really, that's what I'm saying is like, he doesn't have, if Niggas in Paris is that moment, it's like, no, that's not that hip hop moment. You know what I'm saying? He could use a record like that. It's definitely fucking with the type of guy on the mic that can give him that record. So guest appearance or no guest appearances, about Hit's legacy and about this shit that I've been talking, I would like to see a classic hip hop record of that ilk on this project. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And They Reminisce Over You is a big ask, obviously. I'm not necessarily asking for that record, but you know what I'm saying?
I know what you mean. The World Is Yours, since we were talking Pete Rock again.
Right.
Which I love. I think Pete
No,
Rock's
I love
incredible.
Pete Rock. He's just not better than Hit. It's like he just has those hip hop moments that canonize him, and for all this good album making and quality song making Hit's been doing, he could use that.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would hope for. So no matter who it is, you know what I'm saying?
Mad Max with the super chat says, yeah, I'm playing Born Center, Good Kid, Mad City, 2014. Off season,
but nobody hangs out with you though.
NWTS, F&L, etc. What you saying? You want to hear Nas say we coming blacker than Black Panther 2? Whack bars. Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says, I'm late, but I just wanted to say I took my wife and daughter to the Book of HOV exhibit on Saturday, and we're absolutely blown away. It was incredible. Got to go check that out. I don't know how long they're going to be having. I know it's open to the public now, but I think it's going to be going on for the next month at least, or at least next couple of weeks. But Stephon Young with the super chat says, Hit Boy is not a top 10 producer, Coop.
Yes, he is.
Mad Max with the super chat says, all y'all in the chat like groupies, love Nas, but this is why young dudes don't respect you. Nas don't want to rap with Cole right now. He chipped his tooth like 94. I would like to see Cole on Magic 2. How about that?
I was thinking somebody high level like Nas. Black Thought and Rakim came to my mind. Kind of, they flashed in my mind right quick.
But somebody who's going to get the streams and give us that aesthetic that we're looking for from a hip hop standpoint, that's Cole.
See, this is what I'm saying, Mad Max, and I'm being very serious when I say this. Mike, how many albums has J. Cole dropped in the last 3 years?
Off season.
How many projects has Nas dropped in the last 3 years?
4.
How many 3-verse songs have you heard J. Cole on in the last 3 years?
Well, I mean, I have to go back and think about that.
Right. How many Nas songs do you think there are like that in the last 3 years?
It's a lot.
And so what I'm saying is that it's easy for you to say, like, this is why I hate when people say this, because they used to say this about Thought at some point too. And I was like, well, in a vacuum, you're right. But you do understand one guy is writing exponentially more than the other guy, except for they're performing at the same level. Now, who's greater, Mike? Now, if I do what you do on the same level, except I do it more. And that's really the Cole Nas conversation.
In the past 3 years.
What I'm saying is that it's easy for you to look at the Johnny P's Caddy verse. It's like, okay, that's a verse.
But you know what that is. That's that Andre 3000.
That's that Andre 3000 shit, Mike. Mm-hmm. And we're not playing those games around here on According to Hip Hop. So as much as I love Cole, as much as I respect Cole, and as much as Mike, I might even tell you that Cole's probably top 3 right now and has been since this KD run. He is not number 1 because guess what we don't have? We don't have enough evidence that says that he's number one. Now, when he shows up, is evidence that it might be true. But do we have any motherfucking product in the album format that says he's the best MC out? Because the off season, not that. KD too, Mike.
Where would you put the off season in this KD run?
At the bottom, Mike. It's not even better than KD 1, and you know it.
I agree.
And here's the reality of the matter too, and this is what I'm saying. Is it's like, no, he hasn't made anything KD 2 level, KD 3 level, Mike, definitely lyric-wise, Magic level at all in the last 5 years. So Mad Max, I get you riding for your new school homie, but you don't have no fucking evidence, my G. You don't have no fucking evidence outside of guest appearance verses and the off season. The off season and some guest verses got you thinking Cole's better than Nas right now when I can say KD 1, 2, 3, and Magic. It sounds foolish, and that's why old heads don't respect young heads, because y'all just quite frankly say some stupid shit that's not factual sometime, Mad Max. Have a good day. Thank you for coming out. You tried it. You lost like you always do to me. Next, Mike.
Brian with the super chat says, Friday Night Lights, Born Center, and Forest Hill Drive are on par with the KD era. Your generation might not play them today, but mine does. And I respect that.
Like, I still play Good Kid, Mad City, Mike, but it's like, miss me with that Born Center fucking To Pimp a Butterfly shit. I play Victory Lap, Mike. I play Daytona. I play Pray for Paris and Alfredo. And nobody playing no damn Born Center and no To Pimp a Butterfly. Ain't playing playing no Views from the Six either. You niggas is lying. I don't see nobody outside playing these records.
We got to pull up the numbers.
The producer shaking his head is like, Mike, no, I don't see.
We got to pull up the numbers.
Mike, I was just on Edgewood and Auburn all weekend. I ain't hear one fucking J. Cole, one fucking Kendrick record. I heard Nas records. Old and new. That's some bullshit. I was on Edgewood and Auburn all weekend. Nah, fam.
T Nitty with the super chat says, Killer Priest and Currency made 10 since 2013. Yeah, they've been putting in work.
Mike, I played Scotty Beam the other day.
Yeah.
Kendrick ain't got no damn Scotty Beam in the last 5 years.
James Smith with the super chat says, Jay Electronica features with Just Blaze production. So you want Jay Electronica on the Magic 2 album with Just Blaze production? Trying to sabotage Nas, I see. Mr. J with the super chat says, the warm-up, F&L, both classic mixtapes. Yeah, Friday Night Lights was hard. Born Center and 2014, classic. The off-season is, again, very well. I do feel this next one will be his best album. We keep saying that about Cole.
Hold on, you understand? Okay, listen to what I'm saying. You have to go, listen to this. In a Nas and J. Cole conversation, J. Cole fans have to go back to 2010 through 14. And as a Nas fan, from somebody that literally heard him for the first time when I was about 11 years old, Mike, and I'm 41, I can just go the last 3 years. And we having a conversation about who's better. Do you understand how fucking stupid that sounds? That the guy that showed up first, I can bring up his recent stuff, and you have to go bring up the newer guy's old shit. Stop playing with me.
LP with the
I
super
ain't the
chat
one.
says,
You're not winning this. None of y'all are winning this.
LP with the super chat says, Cole and Lupe made songs with Nas, naming them. And songs with Nas is naming them. Y'all goats nut hug Nas more than anybody in the chat. What's that say about your favorite Mad Max? Jay Short with the super chat says, I went to a half a dozen vinyl stores this weekend. All of them had overstocked of Mr. Morale. Y'all don't buy or support Kendrick like that. Stop lying. And Jay Short's on the West Coast, mind you.
It's the truth.
Andrew Williams with the super chat says, talk to him, Coop. And Chris White with the super chat says, only J. Cole album on this level was his last album.
No, Forest Hills is the only one that's been on this level, Mike. Maybe Friday Night Lights. Like, how about this? Friday Night Lights, you could say maybe it's better than KD 1, and you could say Forest Hills Drive might be better than KD 2. But then, Mike, there's KD 3 and Magic, and that's why it's like, no, stop that.
All right, this is what I'm going to say before we leave.
Stop that.
Magic 2, I want Kendrick on there. And I want Cole on there.
Cut us off.
No, because you remember when Kendrick and Nas... No, you remember when Kendrick and Nas took that picture together? It's got to be a song,
That was like
right?
6 years ago, Mike.
You don't think a song was made?
I didn't have these white hairs, Mike, when they took that picture.
You don't think a song was made? No? Yeah. Well, At least we can get Cole on Magic too, right? We'll have more details Wednesday, I'm sure, for Wednesday's show. And
Are you sure
what?
that we're gonna have more details?
Hopefully. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would imagine.
We got 2 magic sticks that I can't read in a black and white of Harry Houdini. I didn't even know that was Houdini. Like, I don't be watching no black and white.
Well, I feel like we'll probably have more details by Wednesday. If we don't, then we don't, and we'll just go from there. But I mean, we got to bounce. I think there's another super chat.
Yeah, get
and then we'll get up out of here. But yeah, I'm excited though. I think it's gonna be got some stuff coming. Mr. J with the super chat says, not saying Cole is better than Nas. No one believes that. Just don't discredit Cole's work.
Nobody did. But Mad Max is saying J. Cole's better than Nas right now, and he just doesn't know what he's talking about. You don't have any evidence. You have no evidence. Because here's the thing about it. Think about this. For all of y'all that's riding for J. Cole, how many times have we pulled up on here, Mike, and said that, well, Kendrick ain't made nothing great since, damn, that's what, 2017, 2016?
17.
17? Mike, Cole ain't made nothing great since Forest Hills. When was that?
Damn, that was 14, right?
Thank you.
That's almost 10 years.
So stop playing with me then. Because stop playing with me. Same rules apply. Same rules apply. Cole don't get no pass for not making nothing great since Forest Hills. Meanwhile, the greatest MC of all time is still currently making great music. Mike, who's the best MC? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like you can't have that conversation when the new guy ain't made a classic album in literally 8 going on 9 years, and the old guy that y'all think that we campaigning for is literally making classic stuff.
Well, the new guy's not really that new anymore. Andrew Williams.
The new guy's newer than the old guy, Mike. Yeah. The old guy, 50.
Yeah. Andrew Williams with the super chat says, Nas literally murdered J. Cole on Let Nas Down. AB Studios with the super chat says, J. Cole gonna make a record called Let Coop Down. Mad Max with the super chat says, you diss a whole generation to praise a guy who I love, who you beg the chat to stream, who stream. Mike, stop talking about what fans don't support.
First of all, I ain't beg nobody to do shit, Mad Max. Get your facts straight. And this is what I'm saying. Your dude, J. Cole, ain't made a classic album in 8 fucking years. Address that shit. That's not me putting him down. That's a fact. This is what I'm saying. What today's generation, Mike, they just don't like factual information. Your guy hasn't made a classic album in 8 fucking years. Tell him to make a classic fucking album. Nobody wants him to win more than me. The reality of the matter, Mike, he has 1 certified classic under his belt. It's 8 years ago. The shit's unacceptable. Stop giving these motherfuckers hall passes because y'all don't care and like the vibes and stuff. I like the vibes and stuff too. Make a classic album. Stop with this bullshit.
Nobody get off my lawn.
You can't be the greatest MC right now when we have to go to a project that you made 8 years ago as your crowning achievement.
I think that's a fair point.
That's not how greatest right now goes. Say who the best MC right now. Not a guy whose best shit was 8 years ago.
No,
I don't care. Fair. I don't care how many guest verses you do. You're not about the Andre 3000 me.
Exactly. No,
not about
that
the
I
Andre
agree
3000 me again, Mike. It's not about to happen twice.
Yeah. 88 Spencer with the super chat says, we need to really support this brother Nas right this time around. Yeah, we need to support him right this time around.
I ain't beg nobody to do shit. Y'all pulled up on According to Hip Hop about the shit that we were saying because it was true. Ain't beg nobody to do shit. They be the ones encouraging us to do the streaming parties.
Yeah.
Shit crazy.
I think that'll be dope, man. I mean, it'll be fun. I mean, he normally comes with quality product. It's Nas. We can all listen to that shit for the first time all together. It's a great experience. But, like I said, hopefully we'll have some more information on Wednesday and be able to speak to this a little bit more because, I mean, this is kind of breaking news as we're on live. So, looks like it may happen. I don't know if it's going to happen Friday, but the 2 magic wands and the Houdini, that seems very magic-y, so.
It's got the vibes.
Like and subscribe to According to Hip Hop. Hit that bell icon so you know when we're live. I think we got another super chat before
That's cool.
Go.
Get off my lawn. Go ahead.
Coop's on his real get off my lawn shit today. Esquire with the super chat says Nas is the GOAT by far, but there is a pretty wide gap between the first KD and the other 3 entries. Solid LP that probably wouldn't make his top 10. 8 out of 10.
On the back half of the top 10, and I just said, no. If you I said Friday Night Lights, you could say is better than KD1. I just said that.
Yeah.
I just said that. I think that's Cole's probably 3rd best project.
But yeah, that's saying a lot about what Nas is doing right now.
Thank you. It's like, no. His 9th best project matches up with this guy's 3rd best project. We're not having this conversation unless Cole makes it a conversation.
You know, a conversation that you and I need to have, though, and I think it's kind of a long overdue. We could do this Wednesday. We need to have an albums versus singles type of conversation, because this era is more predicated on singles than they are albums, at least from a star standpoint. Now, you have the guys who make albums, and you see the albums that are really great albums in this era don't have the big singles either. So I think that we need to have a conversation about the weight of what is what.
No.
You're stuck on the album thing.
No, I'm not stuck on the album thing. Listen to what I'm about to say. No, these dudes need to stop getting hall passes from guys like Mad Max and get they fucking weight up. My favorite rap artists know how to make hits and albums. Stop with these hall passes.
But who has done that in recent time, though, you know?
What do you mean?
Make hits and great albums at the same time.
This is what I'm saying, Mike. When you're great, you find a way. Marvin Gaye came up in a time where singles were the thing. He made himself into a great album maker. You want to know why? Because he was fucking great. You're just showing how great that you're not with the excuses. Excuses satisfy the maker. I'm not coming off the bar and the standard to appease some young niggas who don't know as much as me about hip-hop, like Mad Max.
But see, the thing is, though, Coop, though, in reverse, it's like, okay, yes, singles were singles, but they were still selling physical discs and physical albums. And so, hold on, let me finish. And so it's like, yeah, when you transition to making a great album, yes, you're still selling the physical. But in the streaming era, I mean, you've said it yourself, it's kind of more beneficial for people to make singles. So the mentality is to make singles and not really focus on the album.
No, and I feel you. But what I'm trying to say to you is that, well, why am I walking down Edgewood hearing If I Rule the World and You Owe Me, and I ain't hearing shit from fucking To Pimp a Butterfly or Born Sinner?
Yeah, we could delve into more
of that
what
I'm
Wednesday.
saying?
Yeah,
you feel what
I want to
I'm
have a
saying?
full
So
conversation
when you talk about like
that.
this whole hit making thing, it's like, oh, you do understand the people that I'm talking about have done both of the things, not one or the other.
But they came up in an era where you basically, the single was to sell your albums, right? So like you had to be able to
Dead
make
Presidents
that actual.
2 ain't like that. It ain't hard to tell. Ain't like that. They grew into that.
But again, that's why those albums didn't sell what they sold.
But they grew into hit makers, Mike.
Yeah, they had to.
Right. So these hit makers need to grow into album makers.
But they don't have to. That's the thing.
Those guys didn't have to.
Yes, they did.
No, they didn't.
Cool.
They made a choice to.
Cool.
That's a financial decision.
Well, I get that.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, when you're trying to sell an album back then, you had to have a single as a hook that was going to get people to buy that album. Now, to have a successful single, the album doesn't really give you anything. So the mark is to make a single. Right. And they don't have to make the album, is what I'm saying.
Mike, you used to have to have street cred for that to even happen. Gunna's got the #1 single, and he's got no street cred right now. Things are different. Excuses satisfy the maker.
Yeah, we need to have a full conversation.
Yeah, we do.
On this, but
I'm sick of the
Brother Gabe with the super chat says, good point. No one talks about the Cole KOD joint. They don't. We didn't even mention KOD.
Because it's not that good, Mike.
All right. Well, we're going to holler at y'all on Wednesday. Great show. I'm looking forward to more details. And A2HH Live, like and subscribe. We out of here. Yeah, I want to have that single.